Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. Got to take the old farm truck in for some recall work, and also this week GM announced a giant recall on what seems like all of their trucks. But first, let's get over to the dealership and get this thing in for the recall work that's got to be done. Got our new Banks i-Pro installed. I'm actually kind of annoyed by it. We'll talk about that probably tomorrow. Let's get over to the dealership. 3 hours later, reprogrammed. Let's see if this changed anything. Okay, we're still Android 10. Nothing changed. So apparently the most up-to-date is February 5th of 2023. I just got back from my recall with my 2024 GMC Sierra, and this was for the serial gateway module, which is pretty minor. However, what is going on? General Motors just issued a recall on 721,000 trucks. So it has to do with the active fuel management, the lifters. Lone Star Hawaiian just actually did a whole video where he did the AFM delete, which was fascinating to watch.
A $20 part that when it goes bad, it can quickly destroy and blow up your entire engine.
But GM isn't alone with this. Toyota just recalled over, 100,000 trucks where they're doing complete engine replacements because of debris that was left in the motor from the machining process, which is insane in this day and age, especially to have Toyota doing that. We had Volkswagen with Dieselgate that recalled like every single diesel that they had sold. Every manufacturer seems to be having these nightmare recall problems. In terms of General Motors, one thing I'm not super thrilled with is how they approach their recalls. When I had the Chevy Shake in my GMC Sierra, the 2015 that I had, they put out a technical service bulletin, which, by the way, there's this whole class action lawsuit now around that. But basically it was change the oil, go to a different oil. I think it was a thicker oil, and that should solve your issues. For the 6.2 liter recall, they're not doing what Toyota did and replacing all the motors. They are saying dealers will inspect, and vehicles that pass inspection will be provided higher viscosity oil, which will also require a new oil fill cap, probably just because it's going to say a different type of oil, a new oil filter replacement, and an owner's manual insert. So yet again, GM's solution is kind of similar to what my father's solution was on his older 1970s vehicles that barely ran. Throw some thicker oil in that bad boy, send her on down the road. You'll be all right. And I don't think that I feel like that's really a sufficient. I guess I'm not an engineer. I don't know really what goes into that lifter recall, but a lot of this stuff, Toyota not being the case, it seems like that was just a machining issue in quality control. But I have to question how much of this is driven by EPA mandates. How much of this is driven by the requirement to get higher MPG, having all these active fuel managements. Dieselgate, the whole purpose behind Dieselgate was so that they could cheat the emissions system and get it to pass. And those motors were known for being notoriously awesome motors, but they cheated and they got caught doing it to the point where I believe people might even spend time in prison for it. And I just question, this AFM, the active fuel management lifter issue. If that didn't exist, would that still be a problem? But I'm just losing all hope. So you've got Toyota, you've got GM, and people are going to say, oh, well, the Ford fanboys come out. Ford has not been fine. They recalled all of their 2.7 liter and 3 liter motors because those were grenading, and that just happened recently. Why can none of these manufacturers get it right? They've been producing powertrains for hundreds of years at this point, or over 100 years at this point. It's insane that they can't, with the modern era of CAD and all the virtual design products that are out there, the tight tolerances, the fact that we're running oil that is like basically water now, it seems like it's getting worse. And I have to wonder, why is this getting worse? Drop a comment down below. What do you guys think is going on? And do you think these manufacturers are addressing these problems appropriately, or are they doing the absolute bare minimum to appease the federal government to say, well, we knew there was a problem, we brought it in, we changed the oil, and did our best, and kind of sending it on down the road. What is next? How do these brands save face? I feel like at this point, your best bet, for me, if I have a problem with this truck, I'm at the point where I want to go buy like a 2010 5.3 liter, something in that range. Like, what was the pinnacle of, and I'm not going back to farm trucks, I'm going back to like a good amount of technology, yet still having like reliable powertrains before all of this nonsense took place. I'm going to say it's probably the 5.3 liter from GM, the 5.7 liter from Toyota. I might even go as far as saying the 6-cylinder EcoBoost going back several years in the Fords, maybe, and I don't really know a whole lot about the older Ford V8s. So I don't know what the best one to buy. Like, put in the comments down below, what is the best model year with the most amount of technology and creature comforts that you might expect out of like a modern pickup truck, where you could replace the head unit and get Apple CarPlay, have enough creature comforts inside, but have something ultra reliable under the hood of the truck. I'm going to say it's probably the 5.7 liter Tundra. However, that thing is a dog on MPG. But I will tell you, years and years and years ago, an old boss of mine owned probably, a 2008 Toyota Tundra 5.7. I drove that thing from the Finger Lakes all the way back to Buffalo, and I thought, wow, this is like the perfect powertrain for a pickup truck. And for those who don't care about MPG, which there's plenty of pickup truck guys out there that would rather have the most reliable, not care about MPG, and just have enough to tow and all that kind of stuff, that 5.7 liter Toyota Tundra might be it. I don't know. Drop a comment down below. I tend to lean towards the 5.3 because when I owned that 2015 GMC Sierra, the transmission, hated that vibration, loved the powertrain. I think, the engine. It's not going to win any races, but it doesn't have to, and no pickup trucks have to. So my truck, I got the serial gateway module updated today, and I was actually kind of hoping, if you guys watch my old Ford content, I was kind of sold on the tech in that truck to the point where I got really disappointed with how terrible they were at rolling out the over-the-air updates to the software, to the point where I started going through like all this process to buy all of the equipment to do all the updates myself. And it was super frustrating. So with this truck, I've actually loved that there wasn't really a whole lot of promise of software updates. I haven't really even focused on the software in this truck, and I'm a pretty big dork when it comes to that kind of stuff. But today, when I got the serial gateway module updated, I was really hoping that it would have updated the radio infotainment Android system, which it did not. Right now, it's running, almost like a 2-year-old security patch on this thing. And that's another thing with these trucks. Honestly, the technology of all of it, I don't buy any of it. I don't think any of these auto manufacturers are even like remotely good at being tech companies. And the idea that they kind of like pretend to do so is insane to me. I don't know whatever happened to like the next gen CarPlay, but that seems to be dead now. These automotive companies, they are not software companies. And it's amazing that this software system in this truck is like, 2 years old now in terms of update cadence. So that's just another frustration, but probably another video for another day. Drop me a comment down below. What do you guys think of the current state of automotive manufacturing? It's driving me insane. With that said, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Still continuing that streak of a video a day till this channel hits 100K. I thank you guys very much. So if this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to support the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.